now for the starting lineup, starting with the visiting Tigers of Trinity, Washington University.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Southern Virginia University women's basketball tonight from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan. I'm joined by Nash Jones, and we are ready to bring you the Knights against Trinity out of D.C. Trinity Tigers, the opposition coming in today for the Southern Virginia women, who were able to win 2 out of 3 recently on the road in Capital Conference play, Nash, to really put themselves in pretty good position now to make the Capital Conference tournament. Obviously tonight, non-conference action for the Knights.
Yeah, so the last 3 games, the Knights have done really well, coming away with 2 out of the 3 wins on the road, doing really well. Just this last game against Mary Washington, having a pretty good game statistically. They came away with a tough loss, but tonight should be a pretty good turnaround here for the Knights, and it should lead them into the next conference play with Penn State, and should be a really good game tonight.
Yeah, Harrisburg is the opponent coming up on Saturday. Starting in 5 being announced here for the Knights. Jamila Gamby going to be one of the starters tonight for the Knights. Also Corey Stout, who had an excellent game on Wednesday against Mary Washington. Alexis Barnes also getting the start tonight for the Knights. Lorna Suava is also getting a rare start tonight. And the 5th starter tonight for the Knights will be Shelby Butler. And Coach Heather Roberts has been really juggling the starting lineup of late. No big deal. Katie Garish has not been starting here and there of a recent nature. But again, you get a lot of minutes, so if you're playing 25, 30, almost 35 minutes a game, it doesn't really matter too much if you start or not.
Yeah, Katie Garish not starting in this game. Having a really good game last game, being the leading scorer with 16 points. I really think that they're going to use her more as a 6th man tonight. She'll get in the game probably later in the first quarter. I would probably expect to see her at the beginning of the second quarter. But I'd really look out for Shelby Butler tonight, another key player here for the Knights.
Now look out for stamina being a concern, and maybe just the numbers for Trinity. First of all, their tallest player, number 34, Wells, is only 5'9", so obviously they're seriously outsized by the Knights. And again, they've only got a few players on the bench. They've only got those 5 starters, and I would imagine they'll be pretty competitive in the first quarter, but this pressing defense the Knights like to use, this is really going to wear and tear Trinity down, and I would imagine they're going to really have a hard time keeping up with the Knights in the second, third, and especially the fourth quarter when it comes to stamina. So the Knights, 10-7 on the season, trying to pick up win number 11 on the year before they host Penn State Harrisburg on Saturday. Again, non-conference action tonight. Suava right off the bat gets the pass and scores. And here comes that pressing defense we talked about. We'll see how Trinity handles this. And immediately, almost a turnover. Barnes couldn't control it, and she was the last one to touch it, so it is still Trinity basketball, but I would imagine Trinity's going to have a lot of turnovers tonight.
Yeah, that's one thing the Knights are going to really look to push on. As you can see, is they get a
right
steal right there. They're going to be putting a lot of pressure here on the Trinity Knights.
And it's a turnover for the Knights. Alexis Barnes with a high pass, trying to pass it down low. This is really more of a tune-up, I think you got to say, Nash, for the home conference games coming up. Penn State Harrisburg on Saturday, and then Marymount next Wednesday. Again, just a chance for the Knights to get a little rebound after that loss to Mary Washington last night. Get a little confidence and momentum going in for Saturday's game with Harrisburg. And as we talked about, they've still got a lot of tough road games coming into the Capital Conference, but they've got Penn State Harrisburg, then Marymount, who's the top team of the conference, and still to come after that, home games against Frostburg and St. Mary's. I'll tell you, if you can win 3 out of those 4 home games, you're in pretty good shape, the Knights would be, for making the Capital Conference tournament. Because Frostburg, St. Mary's, and Harrisburg are all tied or below the Knights. So if you can beat the team tied with you, as well as the teams just below you, you're being in good shape to maybe get the number 16.
Yeah, and this game will be really good for the Knights to come in to Penn State. Penn State being the last team in the conference. So it'll be a really good chance for them to get another win here in the conference, hopefully, which will lead them into a tough game against Marymount, who's undefeated in the conference.
And I believe they're going to call Corey Stout for a foul the shot clock was winding down, and that was kind of almost a desperation jumper from the right side, and I'm sure Coach Robert is not pleased with that foul. If for no other reason, the shot clock was winding down, and that was more of a desperation jumper by Webb for Trinity, who misses the first foul shot. This is Amaya Webb, 5'4" freshman from Baltimore, Maryland. Got Trinity, the Tigers, are out of D.C., and she missed them both, and Barnes with the rebound. Barnes going coast to coast, over to Gamby, jumper on the way, no good. And the rebound cleared away by Trinity.
You're seeing this full court pressure again, just right off the bat here in the first quarter.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Roberts doesn't really set a number on expectations for turnovers, but I would imagine she's hoping to get Trinity maybe to commit about 30 or 35 turnovers tonight. There's the 10-second call. Trinity never really got it across the timeline, and they struggled to get it, had it knocked out of bounds, and of course the time clock did not reset. So the turnover goes to the Tigers. The Knights will take it out of bounds. They've only got the one basket so far. Nice pass inside to Butler. Now they go left side to Barnes. Good passing by the Knights, and Butler connects from in the paint.
That was a really incredible passing right there by the Knights. Just moving that ball around. You probably saw two dribbles in that whole possession right there. Shelby Butler doing a good job of getting that basket.
Trinity only comes in averaging about 43 points a game as a team. They have no one averaging in double figures. This is a tall order for them to just stay with the Knights tonight, let alone win the game. There's a three-point miss. And now the Knights with a 4-point lead, trying to build upon that here in the first quarter. Stout, Gamby, quick pass inside. It's knocked away. Turnover for the Knights. Without question, Nash, that is something the Knights have struggled with all season long, their turnovers, and I'm sure they want to correct that. They've come in averaging about 25, 26 turnovers a game, and that is something they really want to correct down the stretch in the Capital Conference.
Yeah, last game was really tough for the Knights, committing about 18, 19 turnovers. Mary Washington really coming away with that win last week, or a couple days ago, because of those turnovers, getting a lot of points off turnovers, which really hurts the Knights, has hurt the Knights all season long, as we saw in the last home game against Salisbury. A lot of turnovers there in that game. A lot of second chance points for Salisbury.
A little deceiving last night against Mary Washington. The Knights actually led early in the first quarter, 17-9. So they got off to a good start, but then Mary Washington caught up, and obviously the second half of the game really belonged to Mary Washington. Barnes hitting the first one to make it 5-0. Now 6-0. And again, Trinity as a team only averaging about 43 points a game. With this kind of pressing defense, and obviously not a great deal of numbers on the bench for Trinity, you wonder just how many points they're going to score tonight. Wells, their 5'9" player, missing inside, but I think we're going to have a foul called on the Knights. That's going to be the second team foul on the Knights, and we'll send Wells, the biggest player that Trinity has at 5'9", Zuri Wells, a senior out of New York. She'll come to the foul line to shoot two. That foul called on Suava. And Trinity has its first point of the game. Missed it, but a rebound to Trinity. They cannot hit the follow shot. And a steal by Gamby, trying to get it up court. I believe a foul will be called on Trinity. A foul on King. Alyssa King picking up the foul. Knights leading here 6-1. Played almost 3 minutes of the first quarter. Barnes can shoot the three, passes inside instead to Butler, and she cannot hit that shot. Got her own rebound, though, and puts it up and in.
What a spectacular play by Butler. Oh, the Knights steal the ball back.
Stout to Gamby. Stout with the steal. Gamby with the basket. 10-1 Knights. And now an over-the-top pass stolen away by Southern Virginia, this time by Corey Stout. Stout had an excellent game the other night against Murray Washington. She's been struggling with her offense, but she wound up scoring 13. Sualva can't handle the pass. Turnover for Southern Virginia. Gamby gets the steal right back the other way, trying for the layup. Left hand, too strong. Rebound, Stout. Gets it over to Gamby. Good pump fake, and she scores.
Gamby doing a good job of using the board on that one. Getting that pass back down from Stout. Just a nice, easy layup off the board. What a good run for the Knights here in the first quarter.
Got a timeout taken, 6:12 to go. First quarter, Kim Atkinson, the Trinity coach, wants to talk it over. And probably, again, we mentioned the very small numbers on the roster for Trinity, Nash. So they're going to have to take out maybe a few timeouts along the way in the first half and even into the second half just to give the players a break, a little bit of a breath.
Yeah, it's going to be tough here for the Trinity Knights, having only 8 players on the team. So 2 players are going to be on the court for quite a long time as they try to rotate 3 people at a time, most likely, I would suspect.
I would think if you're the Trinity, and I don't know how they've been playing with this kind of small roster, but I would think once you get it across the 10-second line, you might want to take 5 or 10 seconds just dribbling the ball, in between the circles, between the half-court line and maybe the top of the key, just simply to give the other players a bit of a rest. I mean, maybe like 4 or 5 seconds, a little bit of a break.
And I think the only way Southern Virginia is going to let up on this Trinity offense is if they get up by 20 or so points.
And even then, you don't know if they'd let up. Simply, I'm not trying to run the score up behind you. That's the way they play, and they've got to keep the practice going for this kind of pressing defense for the upcoming conference games. So another turnover. Gamby baseline, driving. Shot no good. Got her own rebound, though. Kicks the ball out to Barnes. She'll fire the jumper. It's no good. Another rebound. And it's up and finally put in by the Knights. So Southern Virginia with the basket on the follow shot by Malia Dye. So Dye, the 5'10 freshman, gets the basket to give the Knights a 14-1 lead. Dye is out there right now along with Butler, Barnes, Gamby, Corey Stout. A lot of players will see a lot of playing time today. As we mentioned at the very beginning, a tune-up more or less for the Knights as they get ready for another big conference matchup at home Saturday against Penn State Harrisburg. And we talked to Nash about how the home games, especially against Harrisburg, Frostburg, and St. Mary's, are games that are either teams that are tied with them in the case of Frostburg or teams that are below them like St. Mary's and Harrisburg. All very winnable games, and if you can win those games, you're in good shape. If you lose 1 or 2 of those games, that throws everything into a really off spin and perhaps makes you really be forced to go on the road and pick up a road victory.
Yeah, these next games are definitely going to be crucial if you're trying to get back into the playoffs. Frostburg being tied with Southern Virginia at that 6th spot. Southern Virginia really looking to hopefully get on top of them and make their bid for the playoffs.
Yeah, that Frostburg game coming up in a couple of weeks, that's going to be huge for the Knights as they get another steal. Garish gets the basket this time, and now the Knights have surged to a 20-1 lead, and another timeout is taken. But make that Butler with that last basket. And the Knights racking up the turnovers and getting points after turnovers. And now, so far, they've got their biggest lead of the night at 19 points, just 20-1. Only 1 point on the board of free throws so far here. We've played over half of this first quarter, 4:56 to go, over 5 minutes played, and so far just 1 point here for the Trinity Tigers. We'll have that doubleheader for you coming up on Saturday. Penn State Harrisburg comes to town. And we'll have the women's game at 1 o'clock, followed by the men's contest. We talked about also, Nash, how right now the women's team is really in the thick of the conference race to perhaps at least get the 6th spot and maybe get into the conference tournament. Not so for the Southern Virginia men. They are 3 games behind, and they're really struggling right now in the conference to pick up victories. And again, 3 games behind this late in the season. You wonder if they can make that up and perhaps the conference tournament really isn't a serious thought right now for the men's team as much as just trying to get some wins down the stretch. Another substitution for the Knights as they bring in Brindy Ballum. And also Nicole Muse is out there. So you got Ballum out there along with Muse. Dye is still out there for the Knights. Suava back on the court. And Tui Severa is also out there now for the Southern Virginia. So Ballum has really been a spark plug this year for the Knights offensively. And Nicole Muse has hit some big shots too.
Yeah, Nicole Muse being that kind of like that dark horse, as you see right here. She puts up a shot.
And hits the three.
Good three there by Nicole.
I believe it was either the Frostburg win, might have been the Frostburg game on the road, or either the Wesley game where the Knights were really struggling and the other team was making a nice comeback, and Muse hit a three-pointer to really stem the tide and give the Knights the momentum back, and that was a huge road victory. This is Ballum, back to Muse, open for another three, hits again.
Muse going back-to-back on the deep threes, giving her 6 points in this game.
26-1, Knights by 25 points. Here's a three taken by Trinity outside, no good. They've yet to make a basket, only have the one foul shot made. Knights basketball with 3:26 to go.
Knights doing a good job getting the points off the turnovers, getting 16 points off of all of Trinity's turnovers, which really brings the majority of their points. Trinity having 10 turnovers here in the first quarter.
Knights have had a few turnovers, but Trinity really racking up the numbers when it comes to turnovers. Down low, Dye missing the inside jumper. And Trinity gets the rebound, and now Trinity will try to bring it up court. And you do see the Knights dropping back that time, not really pressuring the ball up court, so we'll see how much they do pressure the ball with this big lead. Outside jumper by Wells, no good. Knights working up the left side to Muse. She's got a couple of threes already, and Ballum goes over to Tui Severa. Angel lost the ball, got it back. Now it is Muse open again for a three. That one is a little short, but there's Suava with the rebound. Couldn't get the stick back. Another try, and she is fouled. And Suava will go to the foul line to shoot two.
Fouls against the Tigers, number 24, Alyssa King, her second personal.
So Alyssa King just picked up her second.
Shooting two for the Knights, number 35, Monalea Sueva.
And that's the last thing Trinity would need, as we talked about at the very beginning of the game, Nash, to have one or two players basically foul out.
Yeah, that would be tough for Trinity. You know,
obviously, if they foul out 3 or 4 players, you're talking about basically running around. It's going to be 4 on 5.
You know, you kind of look at it as sort of like a pickup game. You know, you're not going to have a whole lot of breaks. You're going to be running up and down the court a lot, which, I mean, is going to be taken to the Knights' advantage pretty well, getting Trinity pretty tired, probably in the first half, really only having their only break at halftime.
Trinity making that first basket of the game by Najaya Von Hendricks. And a nice drive by Muse, but too strong on the shot. Ball out of bounds. 27-3 your score. And the Knights will make another substitution as Brooke Jorgensen will check into the game. And open to Suava for the easy basket. Nice look there by Tui Severa with the inbounds pass. 29-3.
Suava finding that hole in the defense right there, just cutting down towards the basket, just getting the nice pass.
Knights by 26. Jumper outside, up, no good. Suava grabbing the rebound. Knights run the break. Ahead, Tui Severa. Nice pass down low to Jorgensen, and she scores.
Jorgensen picking up her first points of the game here.
Jorgensen, a 6-foot sophomore out of Idaho Falls, Idaho, gives the Knights a 28-point lead. Hook shot, too strong for Trinity. the rebound, and they're going to call a foul on the Knights, which will send Trinity, the Tigers, to the foul line for 2 shots. This is going to be Amaya Webb going to the foul line after the foul on Muse. That was her first, the other team's 4th foul. Mentioned that we've got that doubleheader coming up on Saturday. Southern Virginia hosting Penn State Harrisburg. Women's game at 1 o'clock to be followed by the men's game. Tomorrow night we'll have volleyball against Arcadia out of Pennsylvania. First volleyball home match of the season for the Southern Virginia men's volleyball team tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And always a lot of people and a lot of noise here in Ashwin. The volleyball team's inside the Knight Sports Arena.
Yeah, Penn State Harrisburg, I know last year was a really loud game, a really intense game. And I expect the same thing here on Saturday.
31-5 is your score. Just 55 seconds to go here in this first quarter. After the Trinity Tigers got that basket. Knights work it over to Nicole Muse. Has already got a couple of threes here in the first quarter. Down low, Jorgensen. Jumper good, off the glass. Knights also have Kaylee Rucker, the 5'5 freshman out of Chula Vista, California, into the game. And then she was able to make that pass inside to Jorgensen to make it 33-5. Steal by Rucker. Open for the layup. And she converts to make it 35-5.
You know, that's going to be Trinity's 12th turnover here in the first quarter. Hopefully, the Knights can just keep this pace throughout the game and just kind of, I mean, this game's pretty much put away already.
Off balance shot, no good. And that is the end of the first quarter. A huge first quarter for the Knights. They are on top at the end of one quarter, 35-5, and I'm not sure what was more impressive for the Knights in that first quarter, the offense that racked up 35 points or the defense with the turnovers and only allowing 5 points.
Yeah, such a good first quarter here for the Knights, getting 18 points off the turnovers, only having 3 turnovers by themselves, which the Knights have really struggled with here in the past couple of games.
Yeah, they came in averaging 24.5 overall for the season, but 25.5 for conference play. So if they can keep that up and maybe over 4 quarters, maybe 12 turnovers, Nash, that's going to be pretty good. But if you're Trinity, I don't know what you do. You're kind of outmatched on size, outmatched in the sheer numbers that you have on the bench. And they're really struggling to get the ball across the timeline, and when they do, they're struggling to put it in the basket, and right now they're down by 30 as they start the second quarter.
I think what Coach Roberts is really thinking about now here in this game is, you know, probably putting in your players more that don't get a whole lot of playing time. Right now, it looks like she's going to bring her starters back into the game, most of her starters back in.
Yeah, she's got Ballum out there along with Malia Dye, as well as Gamby and Barnes, who started, and, of course, Butler. So she's got 3 out of 5 starters out there. Some players, obviously, were not dressed to play tonight, including Abby Olson, the 5'4 freshman from Edmond, Oklahoma, who has just been tremendous over the last few weeks, over the last month or so for the Knights. So the Knights starting the second quarter with a big lead of 30 points. This is Zuri Wells with it. She'll step back and shoot the jumper. It's no good. Butler corrals the rebound. Gamby looks inside, nothing there. Now Gamby open on the left side. Didn't take the jumper. Passes inside to Butler. She can't hit. Double team. Got her own rebound. Lost the rebound. It's on the floor. And it's going to be Tigers basketball. So tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, the first home volleyball match. It'll be the Southern Virginia men taking on Arcadia And then again, coming up on Saturday, the doubleheader with Penn State Harrisburg. After another turnover, the Knights bring it back up court in a hurry. Down low, Butler, and she's fouled, and she'll shoot 2 foul shots.
Against the Tigers, number 11, London Wooten. Her second personal, first team foul in the second quarter.
That was another steal here for the Knights, making that their 9th steal of the game. You know, usually you'll find a team maybe getting 4 or 5 steals in a game. Knights already having 9 here just at the beginning of the second quarter.
Butler missing the first foul shot. First appearance off the bench coming into the game for Trinity will be Jayla Brown-Thomas, a 5'7" freshman out of Brandywine, Maryland. She missed both foul shots, got the own rebound though. Barnes thought about taking the 3 drives instead for the easy 2, left her layup short though. Butler with the rebound. Knights getting a lot of offensive rebounds as well. Ballum, nice pass to Gamby, and she missed the layup inside, grabbed her own rebound. Knights have missed a few easy shots here to begin the second quarter, but they've bailed themselves out, Nash, with these offensive rebounds.
On that one, I think Gamby kind of just went up for it, and the ball kind of just slipped out of her hands. Couldn't get much of a push off the ball. Lucky enough, the Knights were able to get the ball back.
Butler connects from outside.
Shelby Butler racking up her 10th point here in the game, only being the beginning of the second quarter.
37-5. Knights now on top by 32. Steal by the Knights. Gamby comes away with it. Up the right side this time. Cross court to Barnes. She'll take the 3-pointer and left it short, and it gets stuck. I think it's going to be Knights basketball as the shot clock possession arrow will favor the Knights this time.
You know, Jim, I think I've never seen that happen in person before. I've seen it a couple of times, probably in the NBA and college. But that's the first time in person I've ever seen that happen.
Good to see Barnes go up and knock the ball out, too, as well. Tigers come back with the basketball down by 32. And there's another steal by Gamby. Trying to fight ahead for the layup. From behind, she is fouled. And Gamby will go to the foul line to shoot 2.
Fouls against the Tigers, number 22, Jayla Brown-Thomas. Her first personal, 3rd team foul in the second quarter.
3rd team foul on Trinity.
Shooting 2 for the Knights, number 20.
That's the first foul on Brown-Thomas. Knights have kind of struggled from the foul line here in this first half. Not a factor because they're up by 32. But they have missed a few foul shots. Gamby missing that one and gets this one.
Yeah, so far going 3 of 7 from the foul line, the Knights. Still doing a little bit better than Trinity, who's going 1 for 8 from the line.
Yeah, Trinity, you look at their numbers, foul-wise, as you mentioned, the shooting percentage way down, and they have really struggled to shoot the basketball as far as just their shooting percentage is concerned. They only have, 5 points on the board. Butler, turnaround, too strong on that shot. To a certain degree, Nash, both teams have kind of struggled when it comes to field goal percentage. Gamby, the other way, easy layup this time, and she missed it. Oof. Just a little too strong on the layup attempt. (38-5), Knights by 33. Inbounds to Butler. She's fouled, and she'll shoot 2 foul shots. Butler connecting to make it a 34-point lead now. Knights have all the points so far in the second quarter. Trinity yet to score in the second period. There's a steal by Barnes. She'll try to go coast to coast for the layup and scores this time to make it 42-5.
Another steal here for the Knights in the first half, being the 13th steal of the half.
And that pass too high.
Number 14.
As Butler comes up with the errant pass. Barnes wide open for the three-pointer, doesn't take it, gives it back to Ballum. Trying to give it over to Butler, wasn't expecting the pass, and a turnover for Southern Virginia. Drive to the basket, off balance on that shot. Easy rebound for Butler. Knights will go the other way with the break. Barnes all the way, off the glass and good.
Barnes doing a good job trying to draw the foul, hoping to get an extra shot or extra point out of that nice little two-point layup.
Been called a foul, but was not called a foul. I'm not sure if the refs are really going to take some serious fouls to call one on Trinity because, as we talked about, Nash, they don't have a lot of numbers on the bench. Here is Gamby open on the right side. Now Barnes, left side, doesn't take the three, drives to the basket. That's working into the shot clock a little bit this time. And 3 seconds to call. First 3 second call against the Knights as they'll bring in a whole new batch of players, all new players coming in now. Tui Severa back out there along with Stout, Muse, Suava, and also into the game. The Knights have brought a whole new 5 into the game. Missing the jumper outside. Stout with the rebound. Stout ahead to Tui Severa. Good hesitation step and just too strong on the layup. Had the right idea. Pulled the defender into her and then was able to drive for the layup. Trinity trying to go back the other way for an easy shot inside. Blocked by the Knights. Blocked out of bounds.
Christensen bringing up the first block of the game. Doing a good job there, not backing down.
There's a foul. I think Suava's going to pick that one up. It'll send Wells to the foul line.
First team foul, the second quarter. Shooting 2 for the Tigers, number 34 is Wells.
44-6, that's the first point of the second quarter, I believe, by Trinity. They got them both, 44-7. More like a football score, Nash.
That's what, for those people not able to watch the game but are seeing the live stats, if they see this come up, they probably think that football's playing right now.
Jumper inside, and the Knights connect.
What a good little hook shot right there by Christensen. Just going from the charity strike, doing a good job.
Yeah, she got the hook shot to go, and on the other end had that block, and it's 46-7 now. So Heather Roberts getting a chance to play everybody today. And it's going to be for 4 quarters, I'm sure. Turnaround jumper, up and good. A nice looking jump shot there by Brown Thomas to make it 46-9. Tui Severa with that stutter step, missing the shot on the baseline, almost got her own rebound, saves it to Muse. Suava is fouled outside.
You know, as we talk about Coach Roberts and her subbing in a bunch of players here after having such an outstanding lead, I don't think we're really going to get to see Garish come in the game, she being the only one who hasn't checked into the game at least once. I think what they're going to do with her is just save her, keep her healthy for Penn State Harrisburg, and especially for Marymount next Wednesday, because those 2 games are definitely key here for conference play.
Yeah, it's a good chance not only to get a tune-up victory, a little confidence, a little momentum going, Nash, as we mentioned after that loss last night to Mary Washington, but also a chance, as you said, really maybe rest some players, get them ready for conference play, which will start again on Saturday after a very short layoff of just a couple of days. Another block by Christensen inside.
Christensen coming in with a huge block again.
Jorgensen will check back into the game for the Knights. Trinity not able to make the jumper outside. Got their own rebound, and Tui Severa, I believe, will pick up that foul. Brown Thomas will go back to the foul line. So Tui Severa picked up her first foul. Now 47-10. Knights on top here by 37. 3:50 to go till halftime. Stout, nice drive, and it just rolled off to the right side. Looks like the Knights are not going to pressure at this particular point in time, Nash, when they bring it up court, which will give Trinity a chance to rest a little bit more. But there's a turnover, and the Knights will have the basketball.
Checking in for the Knights, number 21, Savannah Christensen.
Christensen out.
You can kind of tell on this Trinity team, after all these turnovers, their body language, you can see they're kind of worn out. It's been a long game for them already. Not even in halftime yet.
Yeah, Christensen staying in. Stout with the turnover. Pass inside, knocked away by Christensen, and the Knights try to save it. They do. Ahead is Muse, open for the layup. And she scores. Another turnover by the Tigers. Air ball from outside. Easy rebound there for Christensen. Ahead to Tui Severa. All the way, and couldn't get the shot to go. I think you can see where the Tigers are really laboring to get up and down the court as the Knights work it back the other way to Christensen. Nice steal there by Brown Thomas. Knocked it out of bounds, so it's still Knights basketball. As Rucker will check back in for the Knights. Don't forget tomorrow, men's volleyball, Southern Virginia, first home match against Arcadia out of Pennsylvania. Then Saturday, the doubleheader for basketball against Penn State Harrisburg. Women at 1 o'clock, men's game to follow that. Christensen will take the outside jumper, left it short. Layup good. Up and good by Amaya Webb, and she was fouled. Nice driving layup that time by the Tigers. To make it 49-12. Christensen picks up that foul.
Yeah, Amaya Webb doing a pretty good job coming down the court. We saw the Knights go for the steal, and she brought it over the top, and nice job getting that and one right there.
And she was able to complete the three-point play to make it 49-13. So the Tigers starting to get some points here in the second quarter as Christensen is able to knock down the jumper from near the foul line.
Christensen picking up her second basket of the game. You know, being a player that doesn't play a whole lot, she's having a really good game so far tonight.
Yeah, 2 baskets, 2 block shots by my count. 51-15 now. Looks like Trinity is starting to pick up their offense. Rucker scores. 53-15. Knights still by 38 points here in the second period. Long three by the Tigers, no good. Tigers got their own rebound. Brown-Thomas missing the shot. Jorgensen pulling down the rebound. 2-on-1 break for the Knights. Tui Severa going all the way, and she scores. A 40-point lead now for the Knights.
Tui Severa picking up her first basket of the game. Every player for the Knights who's made it out on the court has scored at least one basket, only except for Corey Stout, who's been doing a really good job of racking up the assists for the Knights, kind of setting her teammates up for some big baskets, and Brindy Ballum doing the same as well.
And Webb had a nice looking jumper there. Back the other way, three-pointer, no good by the Knights. Just 23 seconds to go till halftime. Knights on top here, 55-17. Knights have slowed down a little bit here in the second period. I believe they've got 20 after 35 at the end of one quarter, but still in pretty good shape to maybe reach the century mark tonight, trying to get to 100. Long outside jumper by King is no good, and that is going to be your score at halftime. 55-17, a convincing first half by the Knights, as Trinity was a little bit more competitive, Nash, in that second quarter, but obviously that big first quarter by the Knights has allowed them to take this 38-point lead here at halftime.
Yeah, the Knights doing a really good job. Shelby Butler still being the leading scorer for the Knights with 12 points. Nicole Muse not far behind her with 8. Nicole having 2 big-time three-pointers and an extra basket. This Knights team is probably just having a lot of fun right now. Just, you know, it's always nice for a team to have kind of just a fun game, just to go out there, play around, play the game of basketball just like how you always have been.
And it's given us some players we don't see getting a lot of playing time, really making some contributions. And you talked about it, number 21, Christensen, a couple of baskets and also a couple of blocks in that first half.
Yeah, both blocks, too, coming from Christensen. Doing an awesome job so far in her game today.
So a big first half by the Knights, and we are at halftime with your score here at halftime. Southern Virginia 55 and Trinity 17. We're going to take a little break now from the Knights Sports Arena here at halftime. Welcome back to Southern Virginia University, the Knight Sports Arena halftime here at the Trinity Southern Virginia game, and it's easily Southern Virginia on top here at halftime, 55-17. The Knights led it at the end of one quarter, 35-5. Trinity played a little better in that second quarter. They were outscored though, 20-12, and the Knights lead here by 38 at halftime. And as you look at the stats, obviously Nash, just 8 turnovers for the Knights. They forced 21 turnovers.
Yeah, the Knights doing a really good job in the first half. Obviously with Trinity committing 21 turnovers. But one thing for the Knights tonight, they're definitely having a season high with 17 steals. Really, a lot of it comes from Trinity kind of having some poor passing. But also, the Knights just playing some solid defense. Putting a lot of pressure on them early in the game, as you can see with the 35-point first quarter. Not really letting up in the first quarter. Second quarter, coming out a little bit slower maybe. Trinity having a much better second quarter than they did in the first. But still, I expect these girls just to keep everything going, and hopefully that they keep doing what they're doing and just have some more fun with this game.
Yeah, Jamila Gamby had 6 steals. He also had 5 points. Knights were led in scoring in that first half by Shelby Butler, who had 12 points. 8 points from Nicole Muse, and she also had 2 3-pointers. Pretty good first half, too, and just 5 minutes of play for Savannah Christensen, a relatively new player for the Knights. 4 points, and she also had 2 block shots.
Yeah, Christensen doing a great job, as we saw there in the second quarter, really. Came in with 2 big blocks, and then after one block, getting back down the court, getting a pass from her teammate and making the basket. So really, she's somebody that you look at and you think that's an awesome reserve player here for the Knights.
The Knights were 23 of 44 shooting in that first half. 2 of 4 from three-point range. They missed 5 foul shots, 7 of 12 from the charity stripe, and they also out-rebounded Trinity 26-15. So we're underway here in this third quarter with Trinity starting off the third quarter with the basketball. Knights grabbing the rebound on top here by 38. I believe their biggest lead of the game has been 40 tonight. Ballum starting over to Malia Dye, and Malia Dye scores. Dye is out there along with Muse, Ballum, Tui Severa, and Suava. And the Knights have a 40-point lead right now at 57-17. Tigers slowing it down a little bit. Maybe trying to extend the game a little bit as they missed a three-pointer from outside. Knights quickly into the front court. Muse had a couple of threes, down low to Suava, and scores. Muse with 2 3-pointers in that first half. Assisting there, getting the ball down low to Lorna Suava for the easy shot, and the Knights now lead by 42. Knocked away by Tui Severa. Still going to be Trinity's basketball with the shot clock down to 14 for them. Here's a drive by the Tigers, no good. Rebound tipped out to Muse. Tui Severa thought about taking the three, did not. Almost lost the ball. Muse will fire up the three, left that one short. Got her own rebound though. Now Tui Severa thought about the three again, but a little early in the shot clock, didn't take it. Jumper, no good. And the rebound to Webb.
The Knights being 2 of 6 now from the three-point line. The only 2 made three-pointers have come from Nicole Muse, where she is, I think she has shot 5 of those three-pointers. But I think you kind of keep doing that. Nicole keeps getting open on the corner. Kind of a good, one of the Knights' better three-point shooters.
And when you got an open three, even if it's early in the shot clock, we're going to take it. Here's Tui Severa. She can't hit from three-point range. No, it spoke too soon. It went straight up and went straight down as Tui Severa able to cash in the three from the right side at 62-17. And now the Knights lead by 45.
Yeah, that shot got me off too. I kind of saw that and, got a lucky bounce off the front of the iron.
Yeah, she got that high bounce and she got it right up in front of the center of the basket. Here's a pass down low. Dyer wide open for the shot. Another good assist by Tui Severa, 64-17. Knights came in with 10 wins on the year. Win tonight would give them a record of 11-7. That would be the most wins in 5 years since the, I believe, 2012-13 team was able to win 15 games. Basket there makes it 64-19.
Nice little shot by Webb.
And there's Ballum with her first three-pointer.
Ballum, that being her first points of the game here, doing a really good job on offense, setting up her teammates, but that time getting her turn at that three-pointer and coming away with it.
67-19. Pass down low to Wells. Hook shot. No good. And Suava able to corral the rebound. Here come the Knights. Working it up court with this big lead of 48 points. Teresa Severa's got a three here in the third quarter, as does Ballum. And the turnover will give it over to Trinity as the Knights will make some substitutions. As Kaylee Rucker checks back into the Knights lineup along with Corey Stout. Certain players not getting playing time tonight. As you mentioned, Nash, maybe resting up for Harrisburg. And a lot of other big home games coming up. Marymount next Wednesday. Knights still have, I believe, 3 road games still to come in the Capital Conference and 2 other home games in February when they take on Frostburg and St. Mary's. Turnover there for Trinity. And we talked about it. Marymount might be a very tough task. The undefeated Marymount team, number 1 in the Capital Conference next Wednesday. But Harrisburg on Saturday, and then those 2 other home games against Frostburg and St. Mary's, all very winnable games. In fact, you could argue the Knights not only should win those games, but maybe are going to need to win those games to make the Capital Conference tournament. Pass down low, shot blocked, but they stay with it, missed the follow shot. And Suava battling. Looks like she's going to pick up the foul instead after Malia Dye missed a couple of shot attempts inside. And Suava picks up her third foul.
You know, the last time I saw a point spread like this, I think it was probably a year ago with the Lakers and Maverick, and the Lakers lost by 49.
There's a pass inside as Jorgensen checks in for the Knights. Another turnover for the Trinity Tigers. Like we said at halftime, they had about 21 turnovers. You wonder if they're going to wind up maybe with 40 for the game. Turnover of the Knights that time. Webb back the other way, nifty move, and she got the layup to go. You know, she's maybe been the most impressive player tonight for Trinity, Amaya Webb.
Yeah, Amaya Webb so far having 11 points right now here in the game. Doing a really good job for Trinity.
Almost got that steal. Jorgensen's got it right now. Shoots the short jumper and rimmed out. Dye almost had the rebound, lost it. Here's Webb again, trying to go coast to coast against Stout. Passes inside instead, and the shot is no good, and the foul is going to be called on Southern Virginia as Wooten will go to the foul line. I believe this will be her first attempt at the charity stripe. London Wooten, freshman out of Fort Washington, Maryland. That foul called on Jorgensen. And the first foul shot is no good. That's been another area of the game where the Tigers have really struggled shooting foul shots tonight.
Yeah, so far shooting 5 of 14 from the free throw line. only shooting 35%.
Yeah, and they missed another one. Christensen's into the game with the rebound. This is Rucker. Over to Christensen. Now down low. Christensen trying to get it back to Jorgensen. It's picked away, though, by the Tigers. Barnes is also back into the game now for the Knights. Long jumper partially blocked by Christensen. If they count that as a block, that'll be her third of the night. Jorgensen getting the ball inside. Gets it back outside. Long jumper, no good. Rebound, Rucker. Follow shot, good.
Good little play there by Rucker. Getting the open three, unable to connect off of it, but getting the lucky bounce and getting her own rebound and coming in with another good jump shot.
69-21. There's a steal by the Knights. 3-on-1 break the other way, and the Knights will slow it up. Christensen battling down low, turnaround jumper, and it just rimmed out. And another turnover for the Trinity Tigers. Trinity came into this season winning a few games early, and they've not really won since the first few games of the season, Nash, and obviously their numbers, just depth-wise, that's got to come into play really throughout the season. Playing really good competition like the Knights, and just not really having a lot of players, a lot of depth they can rely on. Outside jumper, Christensen hit it. That's her third basket of the game.
A nice little play there again for the Knights. Bringing that lead up even more.
50 points, biggest lead of the game so far. Knights still need 29 if they want to hit the century mark, and a foul over the back on Christensen will be called on the Knights.
Fouls against the Knights number 21, Savannah Christensen, her second personal.
Non-shooting foul. That'll be Christensen's second foul, team's third foul. Long three-pointer by Trinity is no good, and Christensen grabbing the rebound. Pass comes ahead to Rucker. Down low Jorgensen, and she scores. 73-21 as Brooke Jorgensen, the sophomore from Idaho Falls, gets the basket to go. Shot missed the other way by the Tigers, and a rebound for Jorgensen.
The last time the Knights had a game like this was back in November against Clark Summit when they won 83-44.
That was a road game, yep.
On the road, which was really good for them, and you know, very similar games I'm thinking right here. Hopefully the Knights come away with the biggest win of the season.
Jorgensen down low, scores again. Well, we talked about it in the pregame. This would be a good bounce-back game after Wednesday's tough loss at Mary Washington. A little bit of a confidence builder, but really a chance for a lot of players who don't get a lot of playing time in the Capital Conference games, like Jorgensen, like Christensen, like Rucker, to really get a lot of playing time tonight.
Yeah, Jorgensen having 8 points along with Malia Dye and Nicole Muse. .48
seconds to go here in the third quarter. Knights by 54. Christensen drives down, shoots, left her layup short though. And so now it looks like Trinity, if they want to, can play for the last shot of the quarter. 75-21 your score. Knights have 20 points in the quarter so far, just 4 points in the quarter for the Tigers. And that's their 6th point of the quarter. Knights will have to hurry if they want to shoot on the other end. It's 5 seconds to go. Tui Cervera. They get the shot off, and it's no good. And we will go to the fourth quarter, Nash, with your score. Southern Virginia 75 and Trinity 23. So a big quarter there in the third quarter after Trinity had really played pretty good basketball in the second quarter, only being outscored 20-12 in the second period. In that third quarter, they gave up 20 points, but only scored 6 themselves.
You know, the Knights being pretty consistent here throughout the game. 35 points in the first quarter and going back-to-back 20-point quarters. Really well for the Knights in this game. Shelby Butler still being the leading scorer, even though not getting in that third quarter. But we did see a big quarter from Jorgensen coming in, really just making those down-low shots.
And Christensen had a basket, and then also we saw a couple of three-pointers made, one by Tui Sever, another by Bellum. And you can see, obviously, the Knights, unlike the first quarter, Nash, where they really pressured the ball to force a lot of turnovers defensively, we haven't really seen that since the first quarter, as the Knights basically have called off the Dogs, recognizing they had the big lead and also recognizing that the situation is for Trinity that basically their numbers, they just really can't put up with that kind of defensive pressure. We will have no post-game interviews. I would imagine Coach Roberts really wants the team focused, Nash. After this one is said and done in the final 10 minutes of this fourth quarter, they really want to focus on that game coming up on Saturday against Penn State Harrisburg, because it is a huge game for both teams if both Harrisburg and the Knights want to make the Capital Conference basketball tournament.
Yeah, the next couple games are pretty big here for the Knights. Penn State Harrisburg Saturday, Marymount Wednesday.
And then those other two road games after that in February, when you look ahead to Frostburg and St. Mary's. Frostburg right now is tied with Southern Virginia, and obviously that game against Frostburg is still weeks away. And then St. Mary's is right underneath Southern Virginia. So as we talked about, 4 remaining home games in the conference, Nash, and one's against a really tough opponent, Marymount, next Wednesday, the conference leader. But the other 3 are all very winnable games, and games the Knights really do need to win.
Yeah, really the biggest one here in the next couple days is going to be Marymount. Marymount being the undefeated team here in the Capital Athletic Conference.
And wouldn't that be something to pull the upset on next Wednesday? Because Marymount, last I checked, they were just outside the top 25. Hard to believe that CNU is in the top 10 or 15, but Marymount, a team that has not yet lost in the Capital Athletic Conference, is not in the top 25. They are rated number 26 just outside the top 25. Good drop off there for Suava, and Malia Dye is fouled, and Malia will go to the foul line to shoot 2. As the Knights now lead here 79-26. We mentioned earlier, after this one, we've got that doubleheader against Harrisburg coming up on Saturday. The women play at 1 o'clock, the men's game to follow. But tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we'll have the first men's home volleyball match of the 2018 season, as the Knights will be hosting Arcadia out of Pennsylvania tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, tomorrow night's game should be a pretty good matchup. Knights versus Knights is what I'm told, and the men's volleyball team being a really great team here at Southern Virginia.
And hard to believe, Nash, but boy, you know, I don't know, maybe no more than 3 weeks away. You're talking baseball, softball, men's lacrosse, and women's lacrosse. And, of course, all the other spring sports, tennis, you name it. Hard to believe that. I think the first baseball game is maybe the second week in February. That's, of course, obviously weather permitting. Because if you have baseball, softball in February, even into March, you could be talking rain, but you could also be talking snow or ice.
Yeah, coming up in the next couple of weeks with those sports, we'll probably have about 6 sports playing around each other.
Yep. Jorgensen almost got that offensive rebound to go. Should be very interesting spring for the spring sports. Men's lacrosse really on the rise, as is women's lacrosse. And there's a travel by Jorgensen. Baseball hoping to pick up some wins, more wins this year. And softball has been playing much, much better over the last couple of years. And I believe they're still looking for their first Capital Conference win And this could be the year, you would think this would be the year. You'll see it because the softball team has really been improving the last couple of seasons. Another turnover for the Tigers, 81-26, 7:15 to go in the game. Pass inside, this is Dye. Nice drop off to Jorgensen, but it's knocked away and stolen away by the Tigers. All the way, layup attempt is too strong. Knights grab the rebound. They'll bring it back the other way in a hurry. Rutgers got it. Knights will work the clock a little bit. Need 19 to reach the century mark. There's down low to Jorgensen, and she scores. 83 for the Knights.
You know, I'm thinking this is probably the biggest win the Knights will probably have here in women's basketball history.
They did beat Salem 97-80 on New Year's Day. Right now they need 17 to get to 100. So their most points they've scored this season was that game on New Year's Day against Salem, 97. They're still 14 away from that. Here's Dye, open jumper, and she hits. Malia Dye.
Knights having a fantastic game, shooting 52% from the field, making over half their shots.
Now the turnovers, as we talked about, came in averaging about 24, 25 turnovers a game, and that was really reduced at halftime.
Yeah, the Knights so far only having 14 turnovers here in the game, which is really well for them because it's been a pretty tough couple of games having 20-plus turnover games.
Yeah, and you can see in the results, the box scores will really back this up. When they can keep the turnovers maybe under 25, around 20 or 15, they've got a great chance to win the game. A lot of their losses this year, you know, you'll see 30 or 35 turnovers. I believe in that C&U game a couple of weeks ago, they had 52 turnovers. So if they really want to not only make the Capital Conference tournament, but ideally have a fantastic run and maybe win the conference tournament, which obviously is a tall task when you talk about teams like Christopher Newport and Marymount. But to make that happen, Nash, even to make the tournament and then maybe win a game or two, you really got to reduce those turnovers on a consistent basis.
You know, and that's probably what they're going to work on here in the next couple of days.
As against the Tigers, number 11, London Wooten.
Tigers picking up that foul.
Second team foul.
As I was saying, the next couple of days, they're probably going to, Coach Roberts is probably going to focus a lot in practice on those turnovers because that's really what it's going to take to beat Marymount is not committing a whole lot of turnovers with such a great team like Marymount.
Another traveling call on the Knights, this one on Tui Cervera. And for those winnable games, and maybe the games you would say the Knights could actually be favored in, if you were talking about something like that, like the Harrisburg on Saturday and perhaps Frostburg and St. Mary's, those three teams probably think if we can force a lot of turnovers against the Knights, maybe we can upset them at Southern Virginia. Knights obviously hoping for the other way to happen, to reduce turnovers and get big home wins. And there's a foul on that jump shot, which will send Trinity to the foul line for 2 foul shots with just 4:20 to go.
As against the Knights, number 10, Nicole Muse, her second.
Muse picking up that foul, that's her second.
Shooting 2 for the Tigers, number 24, Alyssa King.
(85-27) now. Trinity had 17 at halftime. Knights had 55 at halftime, 30 for the second half. Still have a chance to get to 100. They need 15 more. Three-pointer. Good by Rucker. 88 now for the Knights. Rucker, another player who hasn't received a lot of playing time this year, and she has made some valuable contributions tonight off the bench.
Yeah, Rucker pulling in 9 points, shooting 1 for 2 from the three-point line, shooting 4 or 5 from the field. Having a really good game.
Knights get the steal. They'll slow it up and wait for everybody to get up court. With 3.5 minutes to go in the game. Jorgensen, jumpers there, and no good. Christensen tips the ball outside, so the Knights will still have it after the misplay. Jorgensen, good play there by Savannah Christensen. Shot clock resetting for the Knights. Pass inside, knocked out of bounds by the Tigers. 88-27, Knights by 61.
Timeout taken by the Tigers.
And the Tigers will take a timeout. If for no other reason, Nash, just to let their players catch a little breath here.
You know, that's probably it, is, you know, Trinity only having 7 or 8 players here on the team, so you'll have a lot of girls just running a lot. And, you know, this game's been put away since the first quarter. So
Yeah,
really
Knights,
just a big win for the Knights.
Yeah, the Knights really went after them defensively in that first quarter. Got a lot of turnovers. Jamila Gamby, as we mentioned at halftime, had 6 steals. Knights jumped that lead to 35-5, and really since then they've been cruising.
Yeah, 3 players scoring 12 points. Malia Dye, Suava, and Shelby Butler.
Butler has not played at all in the second half.
And Jorgensen having 10 points. So four players breaking double digits here in the game.
This is Tui Severa with it with just 10 on the shot clock. Knights are going to have to fire one here. They do from outside, it's no good, but there's an offensive rebound for Nicole Muse.
The Knights out-rebounding the Tigers 51-22.
Shot clock now down to 13 for Southern Virginia. 2:35 on the game clock.
There's another travel there for the Knights.
That's on record. Looks like Malia Dye getting ready to check in here for the Knights. As we mentioned, a couple of Knights did not dress tonight. And Katie Garish, Abby Olson, just to name a few. Hopefully they'll be ready to go on Saturday against Penn State Harrisburg. Every game right now in the Capital Conference, when you're tied for 6th and basically 7th, Nash, every game, home or road, I wouldn't say it's a must game, but it's crucial.
You know, as a coach, you look at every game as a must game. You know, no one expects to lose, obviously, but these next games are definitely. You look at them and you got to tell your players those are the crunch time games. Those are the games that you need,
especially the home games.
Especially home games here for the Knights, who have struggled here in the past couple home games.
Yeah, the Knights are actually in the conference now. They're 1-4 in the conference at home, but they're 3-2 on the road. So they have really picked up some big road victories to put themselves in position, maybe with some home wins down the stretch, to make the Capital Conference tournament. Game clock now under 2 minutes to go. That's really slowed everything down here, and Muse gets the easy shot inside, so the Knights have 90, but it doesn't look like they're going to hit 100 tonight, Nash, as they've really slowed up their offense. And the Tigers, too, on the other end, looks like they're playing a little slower, trying to maybe, again, catch their breath. It looked like in the first half they were rushing up and down the court. In the second half, they're really more conservative and deliberate on offense, and there's a 3-point miss out of bounds. And the Knights will have the basketball with 1:24 to go.
Nicole Muse being the 5th player on the Knights to break that double-digit mark. That last basket bringing in 10 points for her.
It's just working it around with 1:13 to go in the game. 90-28 Southern Virginia. Shot clock is at 9 right now. 63 seconds left in the game. Jumper outside, no good. But there's that rebound, offensive rebound to Rucker. Shot clock resets, and the Knights will work it around the perimeter a little bit, working that clock. Dye outside of Tui Severa. Christensen drops off the pass to Rucker. Tui Severa thought about taking the three at the top of the key, did not take the shot. Christensen drops it off to Dye. She fires the jumper and hits. 92-28. At this stage, I believe they'll just turn off the shot clock. There's just 28 seconds to go in the game. 92-28. So we talked about Trinity as a team came in averaging about 43 a game. The Knights have held them 15 under their average with just 20 seconds to go in the game.
Knights played really well defense this game. Very impressed, even though Trinity not being very much of a threat in this game, but it was still a really good game by the Knights on defense, as we saw in the first half.
They're going to slow it up, and that is going to be the final score. Knights are going to win this one 92-28. Needless to say, a convincing victory for the Knights. They cruised in the first quarter, led by 30, led by 38 at halftime. And they go on for the 64-point victory, 92-28 against Trinity, as the Knights get their 11th win of the year, Nash. They are now 11-7 on the season, and now all eyes for the Knights will be on Saturday's game against Penn State Harrisburg, Saturday at 1 o'clock. A huge game for both teams, especially the Knights being a home game. Huge game in the Capital Conference if either team would like to make the Capital Conference postseason tournament.
Yeah, hopefully all those who can't make it to the game tune into that game Saturday. It should be an awesome game. Probably going to expect another big game out of Shelby Butler and Katie Garish. Not seeing Garish tonight, obviously, because want to keep her healthy for the game on Saturday and Wednesday. Butler, as we saw, taken out at halftime.
Quick check on the final numbers. I think you've talked about it. Shelby Butler had a big first half, did not play in the second half, and the Knights got a lot of valuable contributions tonight off the bench, especially in the second half, from players like Kaylee Rucker, Nicole Muse, also Brooke Jorgensen.
Yeah, and Malia Dye coming away being the leading scorer of the game with 14 points. Suava being with 12, Butler being with 12, Muse 10, and Jorgensen 10. So having 5 players break the double-digit mark is really well for the Knights here in a game, especially going into a big Capital Athletic Conference game.
Yeah, the Knights got a lot of playing time for a lot of different players out there. Looked like almost every player, when you look at the final numbers, almost every player was able to get to double digits when it comes to minutes. Only a couple of players were at 9 minutes. Everybody else was 10 or above. So, again, a very big victory tonight for the Knights. Congratulations to Southern Virginia. They pick up win number 11 on the season. They are now 11-7 on the season as the Knights cruise tonight over Trinity. Final score again, it was Southern Virginia cruising tonight. They led at halftime 55-17, and they go on for the 92-28 victory. A big victory tonight for the Southern Virginia Knights. Make sure you join us on Saturday as Southern Virginia plays host to Penn State Harrisburg in Capital Conference women's basketball action at 1 o'clock, to be followed by the men's game between Penn State Harrisburg and Southern Virginia. That's going to finish things off here from the Knight Sports Arena. I'm Jim Bresnahan for Nash Jones and all of us here at Southern Virginia University. Thanks again for joining us for Knights basketball tonight, and have a great evening, everyone.